All right, word problems. So this is highly necessary because lots of people get tricked up, when it comes down to word problems and converting the word problems into actual like math equations. Okay, so we got three problems here. So the first one will be a distance question. Right, we need to know distance equals rate times time. The second one will be a probability one, and the third one will be sort of like math logic, I guess you would say. Okay, so first one. Okay, so we say this guy named Tom, he drove 100 miles the first 2 hours of the trip. Then he hits rush hour. So we got 100 the first 2 hours, and then he hits rush hour and drives only 60 miles the next 2 hours. Okay, so it was 100, and then it was 60, and then we said 4 hours, right? It was 2 hours in which he made it at 100, and then next 2 hours he only made it 60. So 4 hours total. Okay, and they want to know his overall speed. So when we hear that overall speed, we want to be thinking rate, right? And this equation, you must know. Distance equals rate times time. Okay, so distance, 100 plus 60, we know we went 160 miles, right? Equals rate, we don't know. That's the speed, right? That's what they're asking us. We don't know rate, but we do know time. Yeah, time was 4 hours. So 4, and then we'll just put it as an R. Okay, so we've done all the hard work. We put it into an equation. Now we just need to get that R by itself. Okay, 160 divided by 4 is 40. And that's 40 miles per hour. Okay, and that's all you got to do, right? Pretty straightforward. We got to make sure we remember, put it in that distance equals rate times time, right? And then take your time thinking about, well, what is the actual distance, right? Making sure it's the total distance and things like that. All right. Eraser time. Okay, so the next question is probability. Okay, so in this question, so I'll read it first. It says, this guy Jay is a very good bowler. He throws strikes 75% of the time. So immediately we're thinking, okay, 75%. I'm thinking I'm going to like that as a fraction more. Okay, but I'm writing down as 3/4. So 3/4 is the same as 75%. Okay. Now, what is the probability of Jay throwing 3 straight strikes? Okay, so that's consecutive numbers. Anytime we think about consecutive numbers, so we think about multiplying them together. So every time he throws, he has a 3/4 chance of throwing a strike, right? So 3/4 times 3/4 equals 9/16. Right, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, and so now he has a 9 out of 16 chance of throwing 2 strikes in a row, but they asked for 3, right? So we just keep multiplying this 3/4 of a chance thing together, right? And then 9 times 3 is 27. 16 times 4 is 64, right? And that number is about 42%. Okay, and that's how we do that, right? Likelihood of something happening again and again, right, is we're going to be multiplying the odds together. So in this case, it was 3/4 times 3/4 times 3/4, and that got us to 27 over 64, or 42%. And last one here. Okay, so we got roommates in this one. Okay, so we got 3 people, each pay $73 rent. Right, so we got 3 people, and they each pay $73 in rent. So I always like to kind of like write this out as I'm reading it. If you don't like to do that, that's fine. But I got 3 people, each pay 73 rent. They add a 4th roommate. Now how much do they each pay? Okay. So what we want to know with something like that is what's the total, right? So we got 3 people each paid 73 rent. So the rent total isn't going to change, right? So I'm just going to go 3 times 73. And that number equals 219. Okay. Now they added another roommate, right? So now it's going to be, rather than 219 divided by 3, it's going to be 219 divided by 4. And 219 divided by 4 equals $54.75. Right? So that's going to be what each person owes per month for rent.